Boom. Boom. Haha. Hi, traders. Welcome. Welcome. Come on in. Welcome to another live session with Oliver Velez. Of course, my name is Oliver Velez, and boy, do I have a special session for you today. Yes, welcome. Good morning. Well, it's probably good morning somewhere in the world. So, wherever you are in the world, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are. Come on in, make yourselves comfortable, grab something to write with. Let's take some notes on some things today. And maybe I'll even have some time to take a few questions here today. But traders, I believe that if you've been following my work for even a small period of time, you'll you're somewhat familiar with my love affair with this brand new asset called Bitcoin. Um, it has become a major corner of my life or a foundational stone of my life in a relatively short period of time. And uh, I today, I want to start a journey with you with this asset. I want to start today a journey of taking a $1 million account of mine all the way to $100 million. And I want to do this in your faces. I want to do it in tus caras. That's right. That's going to be my journey. And I'm going to try to convince you today to join me on this journey where you watch me step by step, action by action, play by play, take $1 million all the way to a $100 million valuation. All right. And I want to do this live. I want to do this in your faces, step by step. So, guys, I first got involved with Bitcoin on March 12th of 2020. At the current time, traders, Bitcoin was actually in the midst of a giant collapse. It had already topped out 2 years prior, 3 years prior, at $20,000 per Bitcoin. I told my team and all of you that I did not want to get into Bitcoin until it experienced its next bear move, which it did. But on this morning of March 12th, Bitcoin already being down from 20,000 to 6,000 was in the midst of a major crack of 6,000 all the way down to the $3,000 range. And I began my Bitcoin journey by diving into that collapse. Now, I want to show you this. All right, so you know where my journey started here with this. I can bring this up for you. Okay. So I want to show you where I started my Bitcoin journey. 2020, into a major collapse, the world was extraordinarily frightened. And I dove into Bitcoin, $3,800 a coin right there. Boom. Today, it looks like a blip on the screen. At the current moment, it felt like no one wanted this asset anymore. All right. Now, this was my foray. And literally from, I would say, this was March of 2020. I would say from this point here, where Bitcoin clearly broke out of its sideways range, I literally bought Bitcoin every single day of my life, including today. All right. Now, I want to quickly show you that I want to let you know that what you're looking at right now is the entire history of Bitcoin. It's obviously a very, very baby asset. All right. It's only been in existence for 13 plus years, going on 14 years. What you are looking at is a monthly chart. So each bar on the chart represents one full month of trading. What you are looking at is basically a simple 20 period moving average on this monthly chart. But if we were to look back over the history of this moving average on the monthly, you would see that each time Bitcoin has spent any amount of time waffling under, it represents a generational buy opportunity, or at least it has over the history. And so, what I want to do is, I want to take this next generational buy zone, all right, as the opportunity to take 1 million with this asset to $100 million. Now, I am not going to try to accomplish that just by playing the asset in a plain vanilla way. That's not going to happen that way. All right. But if I utilize, right, the asset itself with constructive, intelligent leverage, with futures, and also by taking advantage of the moves to the downside, not just the moves to the upside, I'm willing to bet I can do this in your face by hedging when we get a little too far or ahead of ourselves, by profiting on the way down as well as profiting on the way up. So turning bear markets into money making opportunities, as well as the bull runs to the upside. And I believe that this is the perfect time to start a journey this way. Now, here are some things that I want to talk to you about. All right. I'm going to remove this chart for the moment. But here are some things I want to talk to you about. If I may. Okay. All right. Now, hopefully, I'll get an opportunity to take some of your questions as well, because I know that everyone is not sold on, as of yet, on adopting Bitcoin as a part of your life. But I want to give you my theses. First of all, I'm going to be doing this over the next decade. So I'm looking at a 10-year block, traders. All right. I'm looking at a 10-year block. We're in 2022 now. I'm looking at 2022 to 2032, at which point Bitcoin is currently trading just under $20,000 a coin. It is my view that Bitcoin has the potential to be trading at millions upon millions of dollars per Bitcoin by 2032. And I want to give you my theses on this, okay? Before I actually even go to the slides, I want to give you my thesis on this. Guys, look, listen. We have been experiencing the digitization of the world for a very long time. The world has been going digital for well over 100 years. We've been going from an analog world to a digital world. But this has been taking place for a long time. The world has been going through a dematerialization process. Listen to me carefully. There was a time, traders, when we walked around our homes with kerosene lamps. That is how we lit them. And kerosene lamps ultimately gave way to what? Electricity. Can you see it? Can you, maybe sometimes in the sky, but you can't really see electricity at work. You can't really touch it. You better not touch electricity at work, right? It has gone from a physical item that provided light, fire, or a lamp to something that's really more refined, something that you can't really see operate, something that you can't or shouldn't really touch operate. It's in silence and it's invisible, right? We have seen things like physical operators, right? Used to actually connect a long distance call for you. Hi, I want to make a call to London, please. Hold on, Mr. Velez. Pull some wires out of the wall, put another wire into the wall, and boom, I'm connected to. There's no physical long distance operator switchers anymore. That went digital. Do you understand what I'm saying? My mother used to bore every single neighbor that stopped by pulling out albums from under the coffee table to show them my baby pictures. Embarrassing. All right. There are no albums under the coffee table anymore. Your photos have gone digital. I have more photos on this phone. I have over 10,000 photos on this phone, but I never had 10,000 photos in a freaking album, in a physical album. Our photos have gone digital. I used to write letters to my mom and dad when I was in the military, the US Marines. No one, barely no one writes letters today. Email, mail has gone digital. I used to collect vinyl albums, vintage vinyl albums, right? I actually sold my album collection years ago, but I used to collect them. But what happened to our music? It went from having physical vinyl to 8 tracks, tapes, to cassette tapes, to DVD, to CDs, to where? Digital, streaming. You can't touch an album today. You don't see an album today. You just experience it in the ether. This has happened to our music. This has happened to our movies. You can't hold a movie in your hand anymore. I used to have an in-home theater, but I used to have to go buy the DVDs for it, or the DVDs for it. There's no DVDs really anymore. Movies have gone completely digital. And to a certain extent, you and I have become more and more digital. Listen to this. We barely put this down. Today we can't live without this digital accessory. But what has this become? It has become an extension of who I am. I am more intelligent because of this digital piece of technology. With this in my hand, I know more. With this in my hand, I'm smarter than without it. I am more intelligent. I have access to more information. I have access to more knowledge. I am now part digital. Even the human race is moving to the digital side of things. Do you follow what I'm saying? My mother was an assistant librarian. All right. I spent virtually every single one of my afternoons in the library because my mother did not allow me after school to go play in the street. So I spent the time in the library until my mother was off. What do you do in the library? You read. I read virtually every single book in my mother's library more than once. I have access to more books digitally than all the libraries in my city, in my town, and maybe even my country. Everything has gone digital except money. Money, traders, listen to me carefully, is the last holdout. Our pictures are gone. Our movies are gone. Our music is gone. Do you understand? Our operators are gone. Everything is freaking 100% digital for the most part, except what? Except money. And Bitcoin has come on the scene to actually accomplish the final task. If the internet was the internet of information and knowledge, Bitcoin is the internet of money. It has come to digitize the entire global monetary system. It has come into existence to move it off of a gold system, to move it off of a fiat currency system, and to usher it in to the pure digital realm of reality. Everything will live in the digital realm. There will no longer be an analog realm. Now, listen to this. This is very interesting. At no point in history has something that has gone from analog to digital remain the same size or smaller than the analog. Listen to me carefully, traders. No item that was analog and has made the transition to digital, a digital form of itself, at no time in history has the digital form remained smaller than the analog version of itself, or even the same size. It has grown exponentially larger than the analog. Now, why is this important? Why am I drilling this point home? That the digital is always exponentially bigger than the analog version of itself. Why am I doing this? Why am I bringing your attention to this fact? Right? As an example, all right, there used to be a certain number of physical mail that was sent out in the United States per hour. All right. It was in literally the hundreds of thousands per hour, hundreds of thousands. Enter the digital form of mail, and there are billions. Do you understand? Exponentially bigger. The digital is always exponentially more and exponentially bigger than the analog version of itself. All right. And so, if Bitcoin is the digital version of the analog version of money, then what's the direction of Bitcoin for almost ever, forever? Exponentially bigger than the old version and exponentially more. And that's at the root of my basis. I believe Bitcoin is going to go up in value, even though it will have its ups and downs along the way, but its general movement will be up for the rest of your entire life, for the rest of my life. And I am going to take advantage of that as much as I possibly can right now. But understand where my thesis is coming from. The base of my thesis is that we're still early. Bitcoin's going to go up exponentially for forever. What's forever for you? For the rest of your life. And a lot of people say, well, Oliver, how can that be? How can you say that Bitcoin's going to go up for the rest of my life? What goes up for the rest of my life? Well, Apple's been going up for your almost your whole life. Apple's been going up for 46 years? Microsoft's been going up for what, 50 years? That's all of your life. The stock market's been Google's been going up for what, 25 years? The equity markets have been going up for what, 180 years? The bond market's been going up for 300 plus years. Gold's been going up for 5,000 years. Like, dude, asset classes in particular go up for a very long time. And Bitcoin is the brand new digital asset class on the scene. It's the baby, it's the new kid on the block, and we're still early. If the digital version is always exponentially bigger and worth exponentially more than the analog version of itself, then the only direction for Bitcoin is straight up with some interrupts along the way. That's the thesis. That's the basis of the thesis. Now, why am I starting now? It's the perfect time to start Because, why am I starting this journey with you now? Because it could not be better timed. Each time Bitcoin has gone into a bear market and slipped below this moving average, it is the perfect time to start or rev up a journey for greater wealth in the future. Now, it's important to understand that Bitcoin is the best performing asset the world has ever known. And it's the fastest adopted network in the history of the world. What was the fastest adopted network before Bitcoin? The internet. The internet, right, was growing, guys. Listen to me carefully. The internet was growing at a rate of about 64% a year. It was the fastest adopted technology in the history of mankind. 64% new growth every single year throughout internet's life. Powerful. But Bitcoin's being adopted at 113% a year. It's almost double the rate of the internet. This is a monster that is a on the prowl in a way that no human beings have ever seen before. And it is gone, listen to me carefully, it has gone from literally zero to $20,000 with only 1.5% of the world in it. Zero to 20,000 and only 1.5% of every person in the world has it. That number is not going down. It's not going to go from 1.5% to 1.2 to 1%. It's not going in that direction. No, it's going to go the direction of the internet. It's going to go from 1.5% to 3% to 5% to 8% to 12% to 20, 30, 60, 70, 80. It's going to go the route of every other major technological breakthrough. It's not going down, it's going up. And if we've gotten to 20,000, 19 or whatever it is, with only 1.5%, where is it going to be at 5%? Where is it going to be at 10%? Do you follow what I'm saying, guys? This is the opportunity of a freaking lifetime. And I am going to start the journey and I'm going to show you what you can do with this asset. I'm going to take a relatively small amount of money, $1 million, and I'm going to turn it into $100 million with this asset and its derivatives. All right. All right. That's how I'll profit on during the bear markets through some of its derivatives as well. But everything's going to be Bitcoin centric, and I'm going to do it in your faces step by step. You'll know every single action in your face: when, where, how much, and how, and why, which I think is always very important. So, guys, what I want to do here very quickly, if I can, is I want to, I'm going to skip the introductory stuff, guys. You know where to find me. Just make sure that you're dealing with my real account. I don't want you being fooled by a lot of the imitators out there. Okay. So there are no dashes. There are no hyphens. It's OL Velez 007 everywhere, but no periods, no dashes. Make sure the 007s are numbers and not 007. All of those tricks. I need you safe. I don't want anybody taking advantage of you. Okay. All right. Let me just quickly talk to you about what I see coming in the next 10 years for this asset, Bitcoin. All right. And then I'm going to try to take some of your questions. But look at this. Here's what I see happening in the next 10 years. Currently, 1.5% of the world has adopted Bitcoin. I believe we go all the way through the next 10 years to a 60% or better adoption rate. This is going to be fast. It is going to be swift. And I hope by the time I get through this list, you'll understand why. All right. Now, I believe that, remember, when the internet was adopted at one when there was only 1.5% of the world in the internet, having adopted the internet, that puts us in 1996. So we know, we've seen this movie before, traders. We know what the internet did. Do you understand? We know what the internet did from 1996. It freaking took over the world. That was the internet of information. This is a bigger internet. This is the internet of money. Money is bigger than information. Oh, yes. The money network is bigger than the information network. Always will be, always has been, always was, always will be. All right. And so this is like going all the way back to the 1996 and being able to buy the internet. But here's the thing, traders. We were not given the ability. We were not given the ability, right? We were not given the ability to buy the internet. We could only buy the companies that adopted the internet. We could only buy the Amazons of the world. We could only buy the Googles of the world. We could only buy the Apples of the world. We could buy the companies on top of the internet, but we weren't allowed to buy the internet. The internet was not for sale. But in this scenario, for the first time in the history of mankind, we get the ability to buy the base layer of value. Now, Google became a $1 trillion company. Apple became a $1 trillion company. Microsoft even connected its claws into the internet and became a $1 trillion company. Amazon became a $1 trillion company. Do you follow what I'm saying? So imagine if the companies on top of the internet became worth trillions of dollars, then what made them the internet? What's the value of that? What if we could have owned that? Well, we can today. And this network, we've never been able to own a network ever in the history of mankind. Now we can, and it's the biggest network of all, the network of money. Do you understand? And the fastest growing network the world has ever seen, and the most valuable network in the world today. There is no network more valuable than than Bitcoin, the Bitcoin network. And there is no network more universal, more global, and there's no network in the world except Bitcoin that has never been hacked, that cannot be hacked. And we can own it. We can finally own a piece of the base layer of value. The internet was the base layer of value for Google, for Amazon. So this is like freaking buying the land and having $1 billion buildings eventually built on top of the land. And if the buildings are worth billions, then the base layer of value, the land that gives them their very existence, must be valued more. All right. So take a look at this, guys. Take a look at this. So that's weird. Okay. So the next thing, first, adoption rate goes from 1.5%. Remember, at 20,000 is 1.5%. At 5% adoption, more people in, network more valuable, the price is significantly higher. 10% adoption, more people in, network more valuable, price is higher. All right. Network effects. Item number 2, the new high effect. Guys, the new high effect. Every single time Bitcoin makes a new high, it gains more adoption, more attention, more wow. All right. Now, each time it drops, some of that attention and love disappears, but a portion of it stays. And so every new high, the world pays a lot more attention. And therefore, a percentage of that attention stays, just like me. I stayed. All right. I stayed. Many of you stayed. On the next run to a new high, another larger portion of the world will say, wow, and they will stay. And this is the new high effect. Bitcoin shakes off who doesn't really deserve it and shouldn't be there, but the new highs brings more attention. It uses this effect, the new high, to grow its adoption. And every single new high does at least, get this, guys, at least a 15x. That's right, 15x at the very least. Well, that's not true. From low to new high, it's usually 15x or more. All right. So if you think about when I first, um, if you think about when I first got into Bitcoin at 3,800, it went to almost 70,000. How many X's is that? All right. So think about this, guys. Look, let me show you this. So think about this. I get into Bitcoin at 38,000 here. I mean, 3,800 here. Bitcoin goes to 70,000. And that is let's do it. We can calculate that, right? All right, that's an 18 and a half X. So let's call it 18X. So Bitcoin 18X'd. It doubled 18 times from this low, all right, to that high. Now it's pulled back. Let's assume that the low is somewhere here. Let's assume the low is 15,000, all right, before the next leg moves to the upside. And let's be more conservative than 18,000. Let's say 10x. So 10x from 15,000 is what? You know, 150. And that's being very conservative when the last move up from the low was 18x. Now, why am I telling you this? Very important reason here. Check this out. Very important reason. All right. Remember, 1.5% is not going to stay there. That number is only going to go up. All right. So now, why is I'm going to explain to you why I want you to understand how Bitcoin multiple X's from the low and what that means. Okay. Give me a second here. Give me a second. Go back to this. You see, I believe that there are certain price points that will cause more people to rush in. I tell my traders, I call them buy stops because my traders are used to that term, buy stops. What a buy stop is it a price? It's a price above you that if it gets above that price, people have to buy it. Not below the price. It's when it gets past the price, more people have to buy it. These are buy stop points for Bitcoin, in my opinion. The new high. So the new high is around 69,000. If and when Bitcoin passes that new high, boom, a portion of the world, of the financial world, buys new highs. That point is going to accelerate Bitcoin beyond. In the last high, Bitcoin was around 20,000. Last high, it shot past 20,000 all the way to 70,000, right? So it shoots past the new high because there's mad rushes into the new high. This is the new high effect. Item number 3, the halving and scarcity effect is going to help propel Bitcoin forward as well. And so I think it's important to understand this. Every 4 years, right? And this think US presidential election years, all right? Every presidential election year, Bitcoin, Bitcoin's supply gets cut in half. And so it becomes a scarcer asset every 4 years by 50%. What asset in the world goes that way? Every asset in the world gets more shares, more gold mined, right? More copper, right? More dollars printed. Everything goes that way. What asset goes the opposite way? Only one in the history of the world, Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes backwards all the way to zero, making it very, very scarce. And what's amazing is that it's finite. So here, what are the scarcest assets in the world today? Gold and real estate. They have the two highest stock to flows in the entire world. Now, stock to flow is a very simple calculation to measure scarcity of an asset. What it means is that the stock, all right, the stock that's already here, and the flow is the new amount that comes into existence. So when you take gold, this gold has a stock to flow ratio of, let's say, around 57, 60. Okay. What that stock to flow ratio means for gold traders is that it will take roughly 60 years to double the amount of gold that has been already mined. So think about this. It would take 60 years to double the supply. That's what a stock to flow ratio is, more or less. And so if you have a low stock to flow ratio, your asset is not scarce, right? So if it only takes 2 years to double the supply of something, then you can just easily make that. And so that's not a scarce asset. But the bigger that number, the scarcer it is. So gold is one of the scarcest assets on planet Earth. It has a stock to flow ratio of about 57. All right. Real estate has a stock to flow ratio of closer to 100. That's the highest in the world. In 2024, Bitcoin's stock to flow ratio skyrockets. Guess to where? 124. 124. It will be the scarcest, rarest asset on planet Earth, the rarest asset anyone has ever seen. All right. And it's important to understand this. This happens in 2020, in 2024. That's right around the corner. All right. And so right now, Bitcoin stock to flow ratio is just a little bit less than gold. But in 2024, it skyrockets past gold, past real estate, and goes into first place on the scarcity list. Now, we as humans, we value what is scarce. That's it. Whatever's scarce, we value. All right. Now, the new high effect, well, I doubled that. Sorry about that. Item number, well, I guess it's item number 4, but I have it here. Item number 5, guys. The most valuable asset effect. When Bitcoin reaches roughly, let's just call it 110,000. All right. $110,000 a coin, it becomes the most valuable asset in the world. It is now number 16th. It's the 16th most valuable asset in the world, in the entire world. In 13 years, it has skyrocketed past companies, organizations, assets that have been in existence forever. and it is in 16th place. When Bitcoin is at 110, and it will get there, in my opinion, it will be the most valuable asset in the entire world. How do financial organizations not own the most valuable asset in the world? At that particular point, every financial organization will have to have it. Every financial organization will have to own it. Every money manager will have to have some allocation to it. Every mutual fund will have to have some allocation to it. Every insurance company, every bank in the world, everyone's going to have some allocation to Bitcoin, because you will be an idiot for not owning some part of the most valuable asset in the world. If you don't, you get fired. If you don't, clients won't choose you. What do they want their money in, the 10th most valuable asset in the world? Or do you always want to have something in the most valuable asset in the world? And let me tell you how I can prove this to you. What is the most valuable stock in the world? Anybody know? What became the most valuable stock in the entire world? I want to see your responses down here. I know it's on a delay here, but you tell me. I want to see. What became the most valuable stock in the world? Anybody know? Show me. Show me. 150. Thanks. That number's, maybe that number's right. I'm off a little bit. What's the most valuable stock? Not commodity, stock. Apple, right? Yes, Apple at its peak, right? It peaked out at around $3 trillion. $3 trillion in value, became the most valuable company stock in the world. All right. Follow-up question. What do you think the most owned stock in the world is? Take a wild guess. Apple. Whatever becomes the most valuable thing becomes the most owned thing, because you need some allocation to the most valuable thing. And Bitcoin, somewhere above 100,000, becomes the most valuable asset on planet Earth, which means that everyone, at least in the financial space, is going to have to own it, is going to have some allocation to it. That's going to send this thing into the freaking stratosphere. Do you understand? When every insurance company, every institution, every money management firm, every financial advisor, every freaking IRA in the world, well, let me get to that. It's crazy. It's going to have some allocation to it. Otherwise, you get fired, or your clients don't put money with you. You're going to look ridiculous if you don't have it. And I believe that's on the way. All right. Now, look, maybe I can do that, but I gotta bring all of these things up here for you. Okay. So when does the most valuable commodity in the world is gold? Now, gold has an estimated value of, let's call it 10 trillion now. All right. When Bitcoin is 650, more or less, 650,000, I believe it's going to get there, it becomes more valuable than all the gold on earth. And that's when it's totally number one in every category: the most valuable commodity and the most valuable entity. So it's, in my opinion, on its way to taking out Apple as far as value is concerned. and it will ultimately take out the value of gold. Now, when it takes out the value of Apple, everyone's going to have to rush in and have some allocation to it. Everyone. But when it takes out the value of gold, who must own it then? What entities own most of the gold on Earth? Take a wild guess. What are they called? What entities own the majority of golds on planet Earth? What are they called? I'm going to see the name here. What are they? What are they? These entities own the vast majority of the golds on Earth. They're called countries, governments, right? They're countries. Yes. Well, what happens when Bitcoin becomes more valuable than the thing they regard as the most valuable thing on Earth to hold? Every country in the world, every government in the world is going to, at that point, have to have an allocation to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to be on the balance sheet of every single country in the world. Why would you say, no, I want the second most valuable thing on my balance sheet? No, I don't want number one. I don't want to be number one. I want to be number 5. Get number 1 away from me. No, nobody's going to do that. So there's a point, traders, where every organization is going to have to rush in and have some allocation, 1% to 3% to 5%, whatever it is. It's going to send this thing to the moon. At over 650,000, every country in the world is going to have an allocation to it. And remember the saying, he who owns the gold, he who owns the most gold rules. Right? Ever hear that saying? He who owns the most gold rules. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's going to change. That he who owns the most Bitcoin rules, because Bitcoin's going to take out gold. Let me show you something. I got to do it. I'm sorry. I got to do it. I'm sorry. I got to do it, guys. Okay. Let me show you this. How do I do this now? GLD. All right. GLD is a spot ETF for gold, right? Now look. Gold went on a rampage in 2000s. This is when, if you go to my Facebook page, you go all the way to the beginning of when I started on Facebook, you'll see me pounding the table on gold. Gold was a huge play of mine, starting when GLD, this ETF, came into existence. I piled in with a vengeance, and I also bought physical gold. I was a gold bug. All right. My father was a gold bug. All right. So anyway, I pile in. As soon as this came alive, do you understand? The first gold ETF in America, in the United States, not the world, but in the United States, I piled in mercilessly. Do you understand this? Mercilessly, with virtually everything I had free. I piled in, and look at what gold did. And then it stopped. And then it started losing some of its value. It's come back, but it still can't seem to take out the high it made all the way back here. Want to know why? Because gold passed the freaking baton to Bitcoin. This is when Bitcoin came alive. Bitcoin came alive right there. Boom. And Bitcoin says, all right, you did a great job for the last 5,000 freaking years. Congratulations, but you're a senior citizen right now. Now it's my turn. Give me that baton, and I'm going to run the race from here. And Bitcoin from 2011, this is 2011, guys. All right. 2011. Look at it. I gotta get the right one here. Look, 2000 freaking 11. Bitcoin comes to life. Meanwhile, gold is doing this. Do you see what I'm saying, guys? Do you see what I'm saying? It's only a matter of time. Bitcoin is going to demonetize gold. Why? Because gold is vinyl records. Do you understand? Gold is the physical photos your grandmom has under the freaking coffee table. Gold is the analog, gold is the actual physical letter that you used to mail and put a freaking disgusting stamp on. Gold is old. Gold is analog. Gold is for the last era. Do you understand? Where people believed in things that they could feel and touch. Now you can't feel and touch your music. You can't feel and touch your movies. You can't feel and touch your mail. We honor the things that are not physical now more than we honor the physical. We honor love and honesty and decency. These are things you can't feel and touch anymore. Do you understand? We honor the untouchable. We honor the thing that is with us at all times. If you're an honest person, your honesty is with you at all times. When you have Bitcoin, your Bitcoin is with you at all times, no matter where you go, what plane you get on, what train you get on, no matter what house you visit, no matter what city, what state, what country, no matter whether you're sleeping or awake, your Bitcoin's with you at all times, like your honesty, like your love, like your decency, like justice or whatever. These are the things that are going to be honored more in the future than what you can feel and touch and see. Do you understand? That's the old analog world. And if you don't get on board, my God, you're going to be a freaking dinosaur. You see? And so gold is going to take, has already passed the baton to Bitcoin. And think of this, of all the people, that gold is 10 trillion freaking dollars. 10 trillion. What if 20% of that says, you know what? I'm like 20% away from my goal and put that in Bitcoin. Oh my freaking God. Are you kidding me? I'd take 2 trillion, but I think 50%. I think if you hold gold, first of all, I sold all of my gold and put every ounce, every drop into Bitcoin. All right. And so I did it 100%. But I think the vast majority of people are at least going to go all the way to 50%, 50% Bitcoin, 50% gold. And in the future, no gold, all Bitcoin. Why do you want second place? Why? What's the purpose of that? What's the purpose of having a store of value that's the third place or second place? Doesn't make sense if it's a store of value. You always want, I don't want, if you have the choice between putting your whole wealth in two safes, right? A safe, a protective safe. And one is the safest safe on earth. And the other is not as safe, but it's safe, but it's less safe than this one. You say, no, 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 I don't want the safest safe. I want the second safest safe. Nobody's going to freaking do that. Nobody's going to do that, man. So it's just a matter of freaking time. And guys, I don't care how low this goes. Low is good. I want it to stay below that moving average as long as it wants to, because I'm going to freaking buy it every single day of my life. Do you understand? I see this future so clear. I see it as clear as I saw it when I dumped everything I had into Amazon in 2001. I see it as clear as when I dumped everything I had into Apple. Guys, my first major play, let me show you my first major well play, was a stock 1981. I took everything I had, which wasn't much at the time, but I took everything I had and I put it into this stock. Look, 1981. Take a look. 1981, right there. And I was buying new highs at the time, which I don't do now, but boom, I bought that new high. I dumped everything I had. My first major play. And guess what? I still have it. I still freaking have it. Look at it. Look. Does this look like we're in a bear market? No. I see this Bitcoin thing the way I saw this. I see Bitcoin the way I saw Microsoft in 1991. No, I'm sorry, 1993. Apple 1997. Amazon 2001. Gold, remember I told you, gold 2005. Early 2005 when I dove in GLD to this ETF right here. Boom. And when I realized what Bitcoin was, oh my God, I canceled this contract. I fired gold and moved everything into the next play. And now I want to do it in your faces. I'm going to show you how to do this in your faces. I'm going to take 1 million and I'm going to turn it into $100 million with one asset and its derivatives. And I hope you join me. I hope you join me. All right. Powerful, guys. This is powerful. I'm telling you. Guys, look at item number 7. Are you freaking kidding me? Maybe some of you don't know who BlackRock is, but BlackRock is the largest money manager, let's call it for lack of a better term, on the globe. It had something like $11 trillion. It doesn't have that now because of the bear market, but it's still like it had 11 trillion. Guys, second place is so far behind. I think it's Fidelity. Or no. Maybe it's what's his name? Anyway, second place is far back, right? And so BlackRock is probably buying Bitcoin right now. They made the announcement that They are starting a Bitcoin fund for their clients to purchase, to give them access to Bitcoin. Now, get this. Look at where I'm going with this, guys. Look at where I'm going with this. BlackRock needs to buy Bitcoin to create the freaking fund, right? For the clients to buy. That is going to be massive. Do you understand? Massive. And they're going to have to keep buying it. As more people come in, they're going to have to keep buying it. Now, BlackRock advises every major government on earth. BlackRock advises the Securities and Exchange Commission in the United States. Did you hear what I said? BlackRock advises every major country on earth. BlackRock advises every major Federal Reserve bank on planet Earth. BlackRock advises the SEC in the United States. They're starting a Bitcoin fund. Now look at number 8. Guess who has the greatest odds of becoming the first spot Bitcoin ETF in America? Wild guess. I know it's difficult. I know you have to think a little bit, but take a wild guess. Take a wild guess. I want to see if anybody gets this wrong. Who? Huh? PIMCO is second? Oh, it's interesting. Who do you think has the best odds of becoming, right, the first spot ETF? Maybe BlackRock, the biggest financial firm, the biggest holder of money on planet Earth? Come on. Of course. And let me tell you this. It's not a question of if a spot ETF is coming. It's just a question of when. And oh my God, when that happens, every single financial institution that doesn't want to hold it, Bitcoin, and deal with the keys and custody, they're going to buy that. And that is going to send Bitcoin into the stratosphere. Do you understand? Now get this. Wow. Every single 401k plan, every single IRA, I believe ultimately has some allocation to Bitcoin through that spot ETF. It's going to freaking send Bitcoin into the freaking stratosphere. Do you understand this? These are all things in front of us. BlackRock Fund, the spot ETF, Bitcoin's new high, Bitcoin becoming the most valuable asset in the world, Bitcoin becoming the most valuable commodity on earth, Bitcoin becoming the scarcest asset with the highest stock to flow on earth. All of these things are in front of us. And each one will send Bitcoin flying. And this is the thesis of how I'm going to be able to turn $1 million into $100 million. Do you understand? And I'm going to do it in your faces. The last thing I will point out to you, is this. Item number 10, the global competition effect. There's a point where there will become a competition for every government to hold the most Bitcoin. Governments will mine it, every single one. Every oil company in the world is already planning to mine Bitcoin. Exxon is mining Bitcoin. Every oil company in the world will mine Bitcoin, and every single country in the world will mine Bitcoin because there will be a global competition for especially your big countries to own the most Bitcoin. Just like there was a competition to own the most gold, this competition will move to who can own the most Bitcoin. But get this, guys, here is the problem that they have. Check this out. This is Bitcoin's issuance rate schedule. Look at that red line. Now look at where we are. We're in 2022, right? Do you see that Bitcoin's new coins coming into existence is going to nothing? That most of Bitcoin's already mined. There's only 21 million, and over 19 million's already mined and owned. Where is their Bitcoin going to come from? You can't make more. Look at if the government start buying it in 2025 or 2026 or 7, look at the red line. They're going to have to buy it from the market. When government, they can't, they're not going to be able to mine it in sufficient amounts. Look at the red line. They're going to have to freaking buy it from the market, governments. It's going to freaking send the coin up millions upon millions of dollars. Look at the yellow line. Look at how, look now, go from 2022 all the way up to the yellow line. And look at how it's all, the supply curve is already flat. Now, I'm not selling my Bitcoin to them. And I'm going to convince you not to sell your Bitcoin to them. Where are they going to get it from? They're going to have to go into the market and beg for it. And that sends a market through the roof. Do you understand this? And should I dare say the Putin effect? I don't know if I can say that. I don't want to get canceled. But dude, did this dude just say, we're going to allow the world to buy our stuff with Bitcoin? Did he just say that? Are you freaking kidding me? Oh my God. Did the dude just legalize Bitcoin? I think he did. Guys, I am telling you, you don't understand. Maybe you do understand. But if you understood, you'd be hitting the buy button right now. You wouldn't be thinking about the price right now. You wouldn't be thinking about, is it lower? Is it? I think it's going to go $2,000 or $3,000. Oh, who cares? Talking about freaking millions upon millions of dollars. Nobody's going to say, oh, nobody's going to pat you on the back because, oh, instead of buying it at 19, you bought it at 15. Like, nobody's going to care about that. That's like saying, yeah, I bought Bitcoin. I know you bought Bitcoin at $6, but I bought it at $5 and it's freaking 19,000. Now, nobody cares about that. These prices now don't mean anything. Do you understand? When we have all of this in front of us, it's crazy. I say Bitcoin builds the next empire. There was the Dutch Empire. There was the British Empire. It lasted 250 years. There's the US Empire. And now, because as you can see based on this, right, as each power begins to decline, a new thing comes into, a new power comes into existence. I say that's freaking Bitcoin. And we're going to want to live there. Bitcoin's not just our money, it's our country. I want to live in the land of Bitcoin. The land of Bitcoin. Yes, this is what I believe. All right. This is where we're going. Look at how the issuance of new coins just drops every 4 years. But yet, guys, you have to understand this. Understand the power of this. You see, remember the 1.5% number? Only 1.5% of the world's in Bitcoin. It's like an empty country right now, right? 1.5% got it to 20,000. Well, got it to 70,000, but now it's 19, 20,000. 1.5% got it there. As that number is only going to go up, but the number of coins is only going to go down. Do you understand what kind of explosion is being set up here? That the supply is decreasing as the demand is going up. There's only one direction that creates over time. Thank God for the macro environment that is not Bitcoin back here. Because my God, I'd be having this talk at $250,000 of Bitcoin. Thank God. Thank you. This is crazy. I don't care what the price is, as long as these are the underlying metrics, as long as the 1.5 is becoming 1.6, becoming 1.7, and as long as the supply of Bitcoin keeps getting less and less and less, I'm good. Take it anywhere you want to. Take it all the way down to $1 for all I care. Because I know what these metrics create over time. This is insane. Do you understand? Insane. People are too preoccupied with temporary pricing when they should step back and look at, because that's Bitcoin today. That's just all I did. All we did was remove the price, remove the bars, and put a freaking long-term moving average on it and take away the noise. All right? That's with all the noise gone. Now, let me just say this, guys. If it's crazy that Bitcoin went from 3,000, I took 6,000 people on this journey with me. 6,000 people were with me when I did the first purchase, 3,800. Well, that wasn't actually the first. My first was around 5,000 and change, but I bought all the way down to 3,800, to be honest. So anyway, so my lowest purchase is 3,800. 6,000 people are with me, right? 6,000 people in my Bitcoin club, right? At the time. Bitcoin runs all the way, right, through last November to 69, almost 70,000, right? That's almost a 19x from the low. It doubled 19 times. Boom, boom, boom. In a short period of time. Now it's trading around 20,000, 19, 20,000, whatever. All right. Everyone wanted it. Now no one wants it. But what you have to do, guys, is you can't get fooled by the moves to the downside. Let me show you this. You don't look at an asset like this that way. You don't look at it On the move, shoot, on the moves down. Let me show you this. Doing it again. Give me a second here. I'm gonna teach you how to do this, right? So what you do here, guys, right? Oh, this is Bitcoin. Yeah. Okay, so look, here's what you do here, guys, right? What you do is you don't look at this asset in this direction. You see that direction? That's the wrong direction. It's not the peaks that matter. You understand? It's the freaking lows that matter. Do you understand? It's the freaking lows, traders. It's not the peaks. It's the lows. Look at the lows. Low. Now look at the next low. Wow. Now look at the next low. Wow. Now look at this one. Wow. And look at this one. Wow. And it's just going to keep going like that. But every time you focus on this direction, you lose your intelligence. So I'm going to create a term, and I hope you don't forget this. It's the lows, stupid. I'm not calling you stupid. I'm just saying that's the term I want to ring in your head. It's the lows, stupid. You're like, keep it simple, stupid. It's the lows, stupid. Say it. Say it for me. I want to see it there. It's the lows, stupid. It's not the peaks. It's the lows, stupid. Yeah, Karma says, but the low hasn't been proven yet. That's right. But what's the odds? What do you think the odds are that we come all the way down here? Well, based on history, very low. Right? Because this is the bottom, this is the real bottom of the last cycle. And this is the bottom of the cycle before. And this is the bottom of the cycle before, right? And so somewhere here, I believe that there's the bottom. Now, why do I feel that we're close? Because every move down has lasted a certain period of time, and we're getting close to that period of time. Do you understand? We're getting close. And it's over here somewhere. Next year is going to be a good year. Next year is going to be a good year. Next year is going to be a good year. Why do you think I'm starting this journey now? I want it. I want this area, and I want it to go lower. Please. Lower is not going to stop everything I explained to you, traders. I'm telling you, lower is not going to stop that. And guys, I don't even understand this. If we watched it go from 3,000 to 70,000, why are you scared at 20,000? It's ridiculous. Or even 15. So here, somewhere here, this bottoms. We're close. And I'm going to have you watch. Watch me work this. Watch me work this thing. Now, traders, I have to tell you because I got to close now, but listen to me. Some of you might be thinking like, well, Oliver, you know, what is the benefit of just us watching you do this, even if you do it? Like, I'm hoping that some of you, I can't tell you what to do. That's not my job, but I'm hoping that some of you decide to follow me. And so Guys, the zeros don't matter. Do you understand this? Zeros don't matter. So if I'm using $1 million as the base starting point, right? And you only have 1,000, it's the same. I just got more zeros after the one, but you can do the same. If you got 100, it's just one less zero than 1,000, right? If you got $10, it's just one less zero than 100, right? So you might have $10, you might have 100, 1,000, 10,000, you might have 1,000,000 or 100,000. The zeros don't matter because you can buy fractions upon fractions and fractions of a Bitcoin. Guys, $1 will matter. $1 in Bitcoin today will be meaningful in the future. Do not underestimate this thing. I'm telling you, $100 will be amazing in the future. And so don't let the US dollar price of one full Bitcoin make you stay away from the best asset the world has ever known. Don't let it make you miss out on this because this thing is going to outprice everybody. All right. So I am telling you this, the time to start this journey is now. All right. The time to start this journey is now for me. And the time to start this journey with you is right now. All right. So, what is this? What does this mean? Well, I'm going to show you what this means. I'm going to show you what this means. I got something special for you. All right. So, try to stay with me here. All right. Got something special for you. Now, it's going to be a lot of work, guys. It's a lifetime membership, top price $3,000. But you're with me at all times. We have a private group together, communicating with you throughout the day, showing you everything I'm doing, every play, every move, the reasons why, explaining how, why. You see every order, you see every buy, you see every flow in or out in every item, futures, the regular spot market, the ETFs, whatever. Okay, now check this out. All right. The sale price is 2,000 for life. This is for the next 10 years. Want to be with me for the next 10 years? Let's do this. Let's take this journey for the next 10 years. All right. But I got something even more special for you because this is the private. We're going to be on Telegram and we're going to have access to each other throughout every single day. Throughout every single day. That's the journey. All right. And I'm never given access to what I do throughout every single day. All right. Crazy. But I'm going to give you the Bitcoin Trading Club, access to the Bitcoin Trading Club. If you're not already there, you're going to get the private, Telegram group where you have access to me throughout every single day, all day, every single day. All right. And of course, access to every single move I make, the whole thing, $500 for life. For life. Do you understand? Divide this up over 3 years and it's a cup of coffee per day. Divide it up over a decade and it's meaningless. All right. Let's do this journey together, guys. Let me teach you, let me show you how you blow a number up. And my goal is to take $1 million in your faces, only for my members here. In your face, take $1 million to $100 million in value. That is the conviction I have. That is what I believe I can do in your faces with this small amount. A small amount to a big amount. And if you even follow a few of the things, I believe you can add a tremendous amount of value to your life as well. So I'm hoping some of you decide to follow me. And actually, to be very, very, very honest with you, um, I'm hoping some of you do. I'm hoping that the group is as quaint as it can be. I just want the rollout of it to be fair, but I'm hoping not too many do this. I'm banking on not too many people doing this actually, because I want it to be quaint. I want it to be intimate. I want to get to know you intimately over this journey, over this period. All right, guys. However, whether you decide to join me on this journey or not, I want you to really take some of the things that I've spoken about regarding Bitcoin today to heart. Do some research, go down the rabbit hole, find out more and more of what this is. I'm telling you, with every fiber of my being, I believe this is the most special thing that we have ever been exposed to. And I believe this thing, Bitcoin, is going to change a lot of lives for the better. It is going to change the world for the better. For the first time, an open, free, honest monetary system that no politician or government can F with. Do you understand? That we can finally own. Because if you think you own your money, piss off your bank and you'll find out. Piss off your government and you'll find out. We don't really own the things that we say we own. You can't take your property with you. All right. And you can't piss off your bank or your government, or you'll find out you don't really own that. And no one can do that with your Bitcoin. And that alone can be the cause for it to take over the world. How many people would rather a money like that you can't mess with, that you can't take from me, that you can't turn off? How many people would choose that over, oh no, I want the money that you can take from me. I want the money that you can turn off. I want the money that I have to be nice with you, otherwise you take it away from me. No, everybody's going to choose this. But only 1.5% of the world know about it yet. But that's going to change. That is going to change. All right, traders, join me. I want to see you. I want to see some of you. All right. I want to see some of you. I'm waiting for you in the Telegram. All right. I'm waiting for you now. So start piling in here and I'll start talking to you today. All right, guys. Thank you. Guys, I know that there are always things you could be doing with your time, with your but you're here with me, and I'm always reminding you, I never take that for granted. And I always try to give something that I think is of value, that can have an effect on you, the way you look at markets, that make you think something. And if I haven't done that today, I will get better. I will get better, I promise. All right, I want to remind you guys, like the video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, turn notifications on so that you don't miss anything. Guys, we spend a great deal of time every single day making sure you get something of value here, a new piece of information, a motivational talk by me, a tactic that's being covered, a trade review, Q&A sessions, live technical analysis sessions. All right. We put a lot of work into this to make this one of the best spots on YouTube for learning about financial markets and how to trade them. All right, guys, I'm hoping to see some of you in Telegram really soon. Ciao for now. Boom, boom, boom. Bitcoin.